I'm 54, and let me tell you something about going back to the past. Sometimes the reason you're still entertaining your ex is because you haven't met anyone new who feels safe enough to replace the fantasy. You don't even miss them. You miss the feeling of being chosen, the attention, the connection, the comfort of something dangerously familiar. But let's not confuse history with future, because deep down, you know it wasn't working. You know it wasn't enough. You know if it really had potential, you wouldn't have had to let it go in the first place. But when you're in that in-between space, when no one new has stepped in yet, the past looks good when the present is empty. You start replaying all the highlight reels and forgetting all the reasons why it ended or why you needed to walk away. That's not love, babe. That's loneliness wearing his cologne or her perfume. So before you call them back or text them just to check in, ask yourself this: do I actually want them? Or do I just want the version of me that I used to be when I was with them? You don't miss the person, you miss the memory. And you're allowed to leave it right there.
Someone said, men don't start to suffer until that woman they hurt starts to heal. Let that sink in. Men don't start to suffer until that woman they hurt starts to heal. When a man is sitting there and dragging you through everything, cheating on you, doing you wrong, doesn't think you'll ever leave because you stayed so long, and then you leave, and they see you starting to heal, or they see you get with a man that is finally treating you the way you deserve, that's when the suffering really starts. Now it's the reality that there is no going back. You lost that girl. And that's when they really, reality starts to set in. And that's when they realize, this is no more. This girl is gone. And it is so true. They will watch you suffer all these years based on their actions. And then now when they're like, oh, she's really healed, oh, she's getting what she deserves, it's like a panic mode because they realize you're gone.
You. Yeah, I'm leaving Pilates. Well, I just left Pilates. But I wanted to tell y'all something that happened to me that I've come to realize that a lot of relationship gurus or people on IG or people on TikTok don't really address is the narcissist that never wants to give up on you. The narcissist that even if you went no contact, he's still contacting you. He's still trying to put in effort to show you that he's a changed man and he wants you back. Well, this happened to me. And everybody who I tried to talk to about the situation, they're like, oh, just ignore him. Just ignore. 7 months. 7 months of ignoring this individual. He's been texting me, calling me, going through my family members. I've been ignoring him. So last week I was at work. When I'm at work, I'm a nurse practitioner. Plethora of people is calling me and the numbers are not saved numbers. So I just pick up the calls and I'm like, Valentina speaking, how may I help you? Well, he calls and I did not know. I picked up the phone. I said, Valentina, how may I help you? And he's like, hey, V. None of the nurses or the doctors going to call me V. I'm like, hey, who is this? Mind you, it's been 7 months. I do not remember how this man's voice sounds. He's like, do you know who this is? I'm like, no, who is this? He's like, it's da-da-da-da. I was like, oh, why are you calling? He's like, no, I'm calling because I want to tell you I'm a changed man. I go to church on Wednesdays and Sundays. I don't go out no more. I don't smoke no more. I don't drink no more. You saw how I used to go clubbing day in, day out. I stopped doing that. I'm like, okay. I'm like, but you know, I've been trying to stay away from, he's like, I know, but I just want to show you I'm a changed man. I said, you know what? Bump this. Let's go out. I said, yeah, we could go out. So we've been talking on the phone consistently because it was my work week. I work 1 week and I'm off 1 week. So my first night off, we went out to eat. We went to dinner. We sat there, we talked, and he came back to my place. I did not have sex with him because in my mind, I'm like, sir, I want you to know that you do not want me. And it played out so well that it was so weird how it played out. Let me tell you what happened. So we head back to my place, right? I did not have sex with him. I have been abstinent from sex for 7 months, literally. And the discernment and the clarity that I have that I no longer participate in sex is like 100, literally. So we're laying in the bed and he's like, oh, you gonna put that thing on me? And I'm like, no. He's like, okay, remember, when it's time for you, if you want sex from me and I say no, I don't want to hear nothing. I said, okay, no problem. Mind you, the whole point of this situation is to show this man that he does not want me, right? The next night, we went and we watched the Heat and Bull games at my house. We fell asleep early, but prior to falling asleep, I was on IG. This girl posted a post saying, single life is only fun when you're a hoe, right? So I went in the comments and I put, I'd rather be bored, STD free, at peace, not worrying about what he's doing or what he's not doing, right? IG has it to where if you like somebody comment underneath the post, you can take the person comment, put it in your story, and it'll come up on your story too as a repost. So when I seen it, I repost her repost at 4 a.m. Well, I had an individual who I was talking to in December when I left my ex, who's in my bed now, in September. So December came around, I thought I was ready to date and, socialize. I realized I wasn't. The guy texted me Happy New Year in January. I text him back Happy New Year. I called him and I said, listen, I see that you're really into me, but I thought I was ready, but I'm not ready to date right now. You don't need to call or text me anymore. He still calls and he still texts me. He actually wanted to take me out for Valentine's Day. I told him no. To this day, he kept on calling, texting me. He finally got the picture. He stopped really contacting me around March, right? So when we went on the date, I put on IG on a date, kind of nervous, right? I guess this man from January realized, oh, so you were lying. You really wanted to go on a date. Him not knowing that it's with my ex, literally. So he goes, and when I repost the repost at 4 a.m, he calls me at 4 a.m. Mind you, my ex is with me in the bed. So I pick up the phone and I'm like, why are you calling me at 4 o'clock in the morning? He's like, oh no, I saw you repost a repost. So that's why I knew that you were up. And that's why I'm calling you. I'm like, why are you calling me for? I want to buy you flowers. I want to take you out to eat. I see you went on a date. I'm like, sir, I'm with my man right now. He's like, oh, now you finally claiming him. Him not even knowing that we just started talking. I said, yeah, I'm claiming him. So can you please leave my phone alone? I hung up the phone. So he goes and he flips over on the other side of the bed. I'm like, okay, he's mad. So I'm having conversation with him. He's giving me one-liners. I'm like, okay, he's mad. No problem, right? I get up the next morning. I go work out. I come back home. I cook breakfast. I bring him breakfast. He looks at me and he says, I'm not eating that shit. My eyes opened up and I'm like, this is the individual that I remembered. Nothing changed about this man. Literally. So I go and I said, oh, you're mad. I said, I knew that you was mad because I was talking to you last night. And he was like, yeah, I have every right to be mad. I said, yeah, you do have every right to be mad. He's like, V, if a girl would have called me at 4 o'clock in the morning, you would have flipped the fuck out this house. I said, that was the old me. I was like, you have to realize we haven't been together for 7 months. It's right for me to question you and ask you, what is your dealing with the individual? And if you show me like you have nothing going on with the individual, I would go ahead and let it be. So as I'm showing him, this man is basically talking to himself in my text messages and on IG. He goes, I don't give a fuck. Y'all girls can take a man back who lies and cheat on you, but I don't do that. I have boundaries. Mind you, this man lied and cheated throughout the whole relationship. That's why I left him. I'm like, oh, you have boundaries? He's like, yeah, just because you don't have it don't mean that I don't have it. I said, oh, okay. I said, so this means that you don't want me, right? He's like, yeah, I don't want you. I'm good on you. I said, oh, okay. I was like, I'm just making it sure. You're right? You don't want me. He's like, yeah. You see, y'all? You see what happened? It's so crazy because at the dinner table, I looked at him and I was like, I'm so shocked that we're at dinner right now. I would have never thought the day would have came that I would have been talking to you because I no longer wanted to talk to you. He said, V, That's the past. This is the present. It's 11:11. Make a wish. And you know what my wish was? I said, God, show this man a sign so he can leave me alone. And look what happened. Look what happened.
I saw this post online and I want to talk about it. It says, we were together for 5 years until he made me mad one day and I left him. We both dated other people for 2 years. Then we realized that we were soulmates who just needed better communication. And now we're back together and planning our next chapter. So the ladies in the comment section are like, that's what I'm talking about. Nothing like rekindling old love. This is not your sign. This is not your sign to go back to an ex that you fell out with, that you divorced, that you broke up with. This is not your sign. Sometimes when you're thinking about past relationships, you can only see them through rose-colored glasses. You can only remember the good times. And it's not until you get back with them and you're like, oh, right, I broke up with you because you're selfish and you're disrespectful and you hurt my feelings all the time. Like, wait, she just said that she got mad and ended things, but she didn't give any context as to what she got mad about. Did you get mad because you caught him cheating? Was he stealing from you? Did he refuse to work and you were working 2 or 3 jobs? Because without that information, how can we properly be happy for you and congratulate you? And don't get me wrong, good communication, of course, is important in a relationship, but then there's also situations where somebody crosses your boundaries, where somebody breaks your heart, where somebody betrays you, and the relationship is over, and it needs to stay that way. So if you really want people to be happy for you, to wish you to the best, to say congratulations, tell us what he did first. Sometimes during a breakup, you both do the work. You work on yourselves. You change, you improve, you get better, you grow, all of that. And sometimes you really should get back together because you've done the work. But if y'all haven't done the work and you're just getting back together because you both miss each other, the reason why you got mad at him before, you won't get mad at him again.
This problem with you getting back with an ex is not because you both grown, but because you both didn't. That's your past season, your past mistake. And what happened is because you didn't grow, you went back to your comfort zone. You keep saying that we getting back together because we both grew from our mistakes. The truth is you didn't. That's why you back in the same place. And y'all gonna keep saying, well, it's cause I realized you couldn't do better. That's why you back. You ain't with him because y'all both elevated. You are back with this man because toxicity and that dysfunction was your comfort zone. You're comfortable there. You don't have to challenge yourself to grow. Growth is uncomfortable. You know what? A new relationship may force you to have to get therapy or counseling or be single for a year and date yourself and learn yourself and learn what you like. But going back to that dusty ass don't force you to do anything different.
You see this right here? This is the kind of carrying on that I can approve of. Let her sit in the corner and think about what she's done. And don't you even think about coming out of that corner until you genuinely learn your lesson. By now we're all aware that if you let a man shenan once, he will shenan again. But on a serious note, I don't think people understand the emotional toll it takes on your friends when they're constantly watching you go back to men who treat you badly, when you're constantly needing their advice and you don't take it. People who genuinely love you, they feel the same burdens that you do. So if that man is hurting you, it's almost like he's hurting them. And to watch you go back over and over and over again without any evidence of any changed behavior, it can be exhausting even for the best of friends. Especially when you've been snotty nose crying over this man that you know is no good for you, but you can't seem to let that man go. What does he actually have to do to get rid of you? This is the risk you take when you confide in your friends about your relationship and about how a man has been mistreating you. Even if you forgive him, your friends will never forget.